You ready now? Oh, we're live. Hey, everybody. This is Mike Bustamante, and I'm here with Dave Kidder, and we've got Leigh Fisher on the other line, and she's going to show her great face here and tell us something about investor financing. We've had quite a few asking about how they can get their money out of a cash deal quickly so they can move on to something else with the money. Leigh, are you there? Can you tell us a bit about yourself?
I am here, Mike and Dave. Can you guys see me?
Yeah. Yep.
Great. Thanks. It's good to be back with you guys again, and I'm excited to talk about this topic, which would be basically cash out refinancing and delayed financing, particularly for real estate investors, and how you can get cash back out of the property you've purchased in order for you to leverage that cash into other ventures or things.
All right, good.
Perfect. So I wanted to start out by, there's two main kind of areas we look at with doing what we call a cash out refi or an investment property or any property, but we're going to focus on investment properties. It would be called delayed financing. And that's kind of actually what that is you're able to do a cash out refi, if you will, prior to the 6 months, typically required for 6 months of owning a property before you can do a cash out. And so this is one area of lending that not a lot of people are familiar with. And so I think it's a really good opportunity to discuss so our audience here knows how they can utilize that, when you can do that, and kind of how it works. And then we'll go into the traditional cash out refi and how that works, if that's okay with you guys.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Right. Yeah, so I'll give you in a scenario. We'll say that somebody, an investor, has purchased a property cash. They've had the cash out of their personal account, or potentially they bought a property for partial cash and partial, we'll say, a HELOC from another property that they own. So they've purchased a new home, or not, they purchased a home using unsecured financing, which means that there's no site financing secured to the subject property they're buying. It's typically hard money loans typically are almost all the time going to be tied to the subject property you're purchasing. So if that's the case, the delayed financing would not work there. It would have to be an unsecured loan, personal loan, or cash. Or a HELOC from another property is actually securing the loan on that other property, not this property. So that would be a situation in which you could actually do delayed financing, or well, to call it a cash out refi. It's really your first financing on that property after you've already purchased it. You can do that within the 6-month period, as long as it's whatever loans are on that property. If there are any loans, are not that property is not secured by those loans. So that would be one suggestion. So we have a lot of cash buyers coming into the market that will purchase a property for cash. I'll use that example. They buy their property. They're able to get usually close quickly, get a great deal, maybe do a little bit of renovations. They want to now take that money and leverage it and purchase other properties or do other things with that money. They don't want 100% of their cash wrapped into this rental property. So then what we'll do is we can, as long as the original financing, if it was financed, is not secured on the property, or if it's cash, we can go ahead and basically get cash back out of that property. What you should know about this is that you're going to it's either going to be whatever lower the appraised value, or get more cash out than the person has actually put into the property. So let's say they bought a property for, we'll say cash $100,000. They did some renovations on it, and it's appraised for $160,000. The most to be able to get out of that would be $100,000 plus any closing costs that they put in, or other costs that they put in to get the property. So it's going to be the lower of the two. But still, you would be able to get the cash back out, and your debt to income or your loan to value, it actually also comes into play as an investor. So you're going to have the loan to value in there, which would be
Really clear.
on a single unit, it's going to be 75%. So you'll have to have a minimum loan to value of 75%. But you're able to take cash back out and now do other things, leverage that cash in other things that you want, in other investments, whether that be purchase another property, secure another property, what have you. And you don't have to take out the maximum LTV, whatever amount that you want to take out, as long as it meets those specifications, you could pull out. Now you have a mortgage on there for the rental, and you've also got cash that you can leverage and buy other.
Yeah, I did have one. Now, these people that are going to do these cash out refis, do they have to come to you before they buy the property to talk with you how to do it, or is this pretty easy for them just to pay cash and then walk into your office a couple months later and try to get this cash refi out? How's that working procedure there?
Right. I always recommend people talk with lenders before they actually make a move to do something, because there's certain documentation that they need to be able to have in order to do the delayed financing. So we want to make sure that they're set up for success and that they are truly the funds that they are going to be using are acceptable funds. So, just like if somebody's buying a house, you don't want them putting an offer before they get a pre-approval to get financing. So basically, this is going to be financing in the future that they're planning on. Meet with me and make sure that we've got everything aligned so we're able to do this easily without surprises during that period.
Okay, good. All right.
Borrow is going to be capped by your loan to value or how much you put in. Because not everybody on the value in your market. So the most that you'd be able to get out would be 75%. Yeah, but that would be 75% is the loan to value. That's the maximum for a single unit. Unit cash out would be fine. But they're still using those same loan to values. If it's 2 to 4 units, you're going to be down to 70% LTV. But I want to make it clear that just because the appraisal value comes in much higher, that you don't necessarily get the 75% of the appraisal. It can be that as long as you put in that much money cash. So, or that you have come into brought to the table at least that much money. You can't take out more on a cash out than you've actually physically put in. And some of that's a little bit, it's going to depend on the scenario. We can always work numbers together. We can do the what ifs and different scenarios too on a one by one, when he's thinking about buying a house and potentially putting in a certain amount of renovations into it. We can crunch those numbers and look at that and see what they could cash out. And of course, they'd have to also qualify for that as well. So definitely, again, you want to meet with me, meet with your lender partner, and make sure you're running those numbers. But this is just another way that people can really leverage real estate and leverage, lending for a buy and hold situation.
Very good.
And then, so the other part, did you want me to just touch on just your regular cash out refi? So I'll give you another scenario. We buy a house cash, or we buy it, let's say, with hard money financing, other potential loans that actually are tied to the property. We're going to do some renovation. We're expecting, to take however many months to do the renovation or not. We have to have the house owned for 6 months, but after 6 months, then we can go ahead and still do that, what we call a traditional cash out refinance. Now, this is a great way for people to buy maybe a house that you would not be able to get a regular loan on because of the condition of their home, or you want to be able to buy it, quote unquote, cash quickly, do renovations with, let's say, hard money lending and maybe some of your own cash. You do the work. After 6 months, you can go ahead and refinance. You can pay back the hard money lender or other lenders that you've loaned the money from, or pay yourself back. So you can still do a cash out in this fashion. Pay those entities, those people back, pay yourself back, and then still use those funds to either buy more investment properties or whatever you're choosing to use, leveraging that. That cash. And then with that, again, you still have your loan to value. You'll have your 75% loan to value max. So you have to have at least 25% equity left in there on a single unit or a single family home, one unit. You're going to need to keep at least 70% equity, 30% equity in there, and you can take out to 70%. That's another great way that, hey, I didn't, I don't qualify for the delayed financing because I got a hard money loan, but I don't, what do I do? I've got a rental property with it. I need to secure some longer term financing, and the hard money loans are great for specific purposes for very short term use. Pay back that hard money loan, and now we can also, either pay that back and that's it, or pay that back and get cash out, and now have a regular mortgage on your rental property.
Good.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people, from my understanding, when I've talked to investors that are looking to buy homes, sometimes the newer investors are they don't realize that you can still do this, that you can refinance into a mortgage, and maybe even not even for your full amount, full LTV, maybe just partial. That you can even do that. And now they want to buy other properties, and now they can really leverage, their real estate portfolio financing. And not only that, but they don't realize that they can use the rent that they're receiving from these properties as, covering part of that liability every month, so they can still qualify to buy more properties. So that would be something else, is really to meet with, you guys, the real estate agents that they're working with. Meet with Dave, meet with Mike, meet with me. We are your team. We're going to help you, set you up for success as an investor, to show you what are your options, and, really be able to make three of us help you as an investor be able to increase your real estate portfolio.
All right. Appreciate it. It's a lot of good information, Leigh. I appreciate you spending some time with us and explaining all that to us, and whoever's watching out there today.
I'd love to be able to meet with you guys and whoever else is, interested. A lot of these guidelines are pretty technical, and there's a lot of situations where it's an if this, then this type of thing. So this is super high level, and I don't expect our audience to be the experts in financing. But what I want to do is be able to meet with them on the phone, on a Zoom, in person, be able to answer any questions, kind of look at their short-term and long-term goals, and see if it makes sense to have, financing as part of that strategy.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leigh.
Thank you, guys. I'm looking forward to the coming weeks.